when I would say I'm going to do something, it's not like I was even convinced that I was going to do it and I was going to show up for myself. I always say the way you do one thing is the way that you do everything. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shalay and I'm finally back home now. This morning I spent the night at Nadia's. That doesn't make sense. I spent the night at Nadia's, hence why I was with Nadia this morning. There we go, we got there. If you don't know who Nadia is my best friend. We run a podcast together called the Consciously Thriving Podcast. So yesterday was actually the equinox. I have to put this down because my hand hurts. It's basically a day where there are equal parts light and dark. Do you mind? Basically both equal parts light and dark. And it's very, very symbolic because like literally light and dark, that's the entire foundation of this reality, right? We live in a universe where so much polarity exists. Thanks, mate. Sometimes he likes me, sometimes he doesn't. And you can get like some insane insights. Can you please be a bit considerate? Thank you. So I'm usually really intentional on those days and I really like to be grounded, do lots of meditation because the insight that you get on those days are very insane, intense, really deep. You just like, you can pull a lot. But honestly, this equinox has been a bit of a whirlwind. Like I just feel like people in my life are just going through like massive up levels, I want to say, and just lots of things have to fall away when you up level, right? Sometimes things have to go wrong in order for you to up level. So there was a lot of polarity in the day yesterday and I just kind of found myself having to be there for my friends. Like my day was just filled with so much like light and dark and I was like noticing things within me that, you know, the shadow parts of myself that actually needed to fall away. It's just something I really, really take so seriously. It's something I teach in literally all of the programs that I run, but particularly MDR, like the entire program is about learning how to be self-aware so that you can improve your way of being. Because when you actually change your beliefs and change the way that you feel on the inside, it literally like it's an instant effect in your external reality. As soon as you change something on the inside, your physical reality changes like that. I've literally seen it happen right before my eyes. I'd be so curious to hear how the equinox was for you, if it's something that you pay attention to, or if you noticed any like shifts. I know some people had like really positive experiences and really felt like they were centered during the equinox. And then I have other friends who, like I said, were going through pretty insane periods of their life, but all very necessary. I'm traveling to Bali in a little bit over a week, so I have to have certain things done before I go. This is honestly like a manifestation. I would sit there and dream about being able to like run my own business and go off of my own schedule and even just like prepping the business and making sure that it's all set and done before I go and I have everything that I need to do there. I don't know. There's just something about it. It's definitely been like a massive, massive manifestation of mine that is coming to fruition. I'm having to get things done and I'm really trying to navigate this procrastination wound that I have, like massive procrastinator, particularly if I think I have like a certain amount of time for things, or sometimes I just get like way too overwhelmed with the amount that I have to do that I don't do anything at all. But essentially I'm writing out my to-do list and I wanted to share this because I feel like this is really helping to improve the relationship to myself and it might help you as well. So what I do is I actually attended a productivity masterclass and it was run by my current mentor now. So her name is Erin May Henry. You can check her out. She's amazing. I'll leave her links in the details below. But essentially, she did this masterclass on actually staying productive. It was one thing that she said that really stayed with me, and it was the amount of goals that you set to do for the day. So you know when you're sitting there writing out your to-do list, what I used to do is I would write out like 1,000 things and I would have this like unrealistic expectation of myself. And it was like this constantly. So I would, be like, I have to do all of these things today for I do not get them done, then you fucking suck, Shills. And then I'd get to the end of the day, I wouldn't have anything done and I'd feel shit about myself. So this was just like a toxic pattern, and it kept feeding this belief that I'm inconsistent, that I don't get things done. So I kept like feeding that belief and that narrative, and in turn it was really affecting my level of trust with myself. So when I would say I'm going to do something, it's not like I was even convinced that I was going to do it and I was going to show up for myself. I always say the way you do one thing is the way that you do everything. So I really like to like analyze my behavior. I'm like obsessed with fucking studying me and how I work so that I can make tweaks where I want, where I'm like, oh, that doesn't serve me. Where does that come from? Do I want that to stay with me? No, I want to create a different reality, a different timeline. Going back to the masterclass, the tip that she actually gave was to set realistic expectations. This might be something that people know, but for some reason it just wasn't in my awareness. So it might sound really simple, but for me, it was like the most profound thing I heard on the day. I was like, holy shit, I'm sitting here writing a to-do list that is just so unrealistic. It is not serving me. This is why I don't get anything done, and I continue not to get anything done, and I continue to play out this pattern. So this has been uncomfortable for me to do as well, to like break out of this cycle, but just writing like 3 things a day and being comfortable with that and being able to like congratulate myself and being like, you did this, babe. What was happening at the start when I started to just like shorten my to-do list, I wouldn't even feel good about getting it done because my mind would go to a place of, yeah, but you have all of this other stuff to do, so you know, you still suck. But I'm definitely working through that now. I'm on the other side of it, and I'm just like, you just have to be realistic with your time. Over time as well, like getting into the habit of actually completing the to-do list, it's now increased the amount that I trust myself. And when I say or write something down that I'm gonna do, it's a rewiring my brain to believe that I'm actually gonna do that thing. Anyway, if this is something that you struggle with, sometimes it's that simple shift. I think that it's definitely time that I eat something though. It is almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon and all I've had is a coffee and some tea, which is actually giving me a bit of a headache now. You know, when you get to that point where you're like, I actually need to eat something. I naturally just don't eat anything till about like 11:30, 12, but as soon as I push it past 12 o'clock, it's like, all right, you actually need to eat something now. Like I start to get a headache, my energy starts to deplete. So what is there? We literally don't have anything. You know when your groceries hit that point in the week where you just don't have anything that complements each other, just like a bunch of random little bits and pieces? That's my fridge at the moment. So when my groceries get like that, my go-to recipe is banana pancakes. They are so good, and you can actually make a really good healthy version of them. I'm just gonna work with whatever I have. I do know, yeah, I have bananas and they are perfectly ripe. So that's exactly what we want. I never use a fork. I don't know why I did that. You either find this really good or really gross. I don't eat or drink the last bit of anything. Is anyone else like that? Like, I'll eat it, but then there'll always be this like tiny little piece I have to leave behind. There's just something about the last bit that grosses me out. Okay, I really am gonna make pancakes now. Working for a while, and I'm now at that point where I'm working from a point of I feel like I need to be doing more and more and more and not satisfied with what I did get done today. And when I get like that, so that's like unintegrated masculine vibes massively. So whenever I get like that, to train myself to tap into my feminine and to just be okay with not constantly doing and allowing myself this spaciousness to actually receive. One job. Basically what I was saying about getting out of that unintegrated, over hustling, overdoing masculine mode, because that's sending an energy out to the universe saying, I am not enough as I am not enough in what I'm doing. So I need to continue to do more and more and more. And whenever I get like that, I literally stop, drop, and roll. This is TikTok's fault. But essentially what I do when I get into that over hustle mode, to train my brain to then rely on the feminine, to be able to call in more into my experience, you know, with with this manifesting process, it's a series of like taking that aligned action, but then also allowing space to receive. If you are constantly like, I am like full to the brim and I have no capacity to hold more, the universe won't give you more. So this has been a really hard lesson that I've had to learn. Many of us have been operating from this unintegrated masculine wound. I mean, that's how our society is literally shaped. It's this like corporate hustle culture type vibe, and we are definitely moving away from that. Everything is definitely shifting to incorporate more of that feminine flow, that trust that comes with feminine energy. Whenever I get into unintegrated masculine, I like to introduce a feminine practice. Basically something that allows me to tap into my feminine flow, relax and let go and trust. And for me, baths really do that, and I like to make them very, very intentional. I'll put bath salts, Epsom salts, which are so good for like clearing your energy, clearing your aura. Sometimes even like rose petals. And I also love to like charge crystals in the water, and water itself is also very like feminine, and it just allows you to kind of be like weightless in the water. It's just really, really, really soothing. Have like 10 minutes to get ready. We were literally meant to leave now, but I got stuck in the bath. If my bangs pop out as well, just ignore those. I don't know why I decided to cut my hair when there were like 6 major planets in retrograde. It was the start of eclipse season. Let this be a lesson to you. A part of me wants to go see a hairdresser just to fix it, but then the other part of me is also like, who gives a fuck? It's just hair, it'll come back. I used to be really, really attached to my hair. I had a anxiety condition called trichotillomania, where I would actually pull out my hair when I was anxious. So I used to be really, really attached to my hair. I used to wear hair extensions and be really, really self-conscious. So for me to like just go ahead and cut my hair one day, just wake up and have the urge, that was like so unlike me. But it really, I don't know, it was like a lesson in detachment. Dramatic, yes, I know. People cut their hair every day and do it themselves. But for me, it was like a big moment. And I have been able to see how much growth I've had since that time of like having the trichotillomania and all of that. The fact that I don't care that my hair looks like this, it just reflects a lot of growth internally. If there's one thing I am really good at, it's doing my makeup really fast. I used to spend hours and hours and hours practicing makeup. I even became a beauty therapist, and I actually even started my own business at one point doing makeup. I only did one bridal party and I was like, no, fuck that. And then I ended up going to get my degree in dermal science. Feels like a different life. And it's crazy because when I think about my journey as a whole, I've only been, on this like spiritual self-development journey for like 2 years. So that's not even a long amount of time. You know what? When eyeliner fucks up, you just smudge it out. And then it's like, no, I intentionally wanted to make it look this bad. It's crazy how much change you can make in such a short amount of time, because I constantly feel like I still have so much work to do and I have such a long way to go in terms of like my mindset and my belief system. But honestly, just reflecting the past like 2 years, I'm like, fuck, I've completely changed the person I am. I used to be the type of person who was like so negative. I had no sense of self, no sense of intuition. The way that I would make a decision is literally consult everybody in my life and see what everybody else thinks and then make my decision based off of that. And it fucking led me to the worst depression and anxiety I've ever experienced in my entire life. I was so out of alignment with myself that I didn't even know who I was. Yeah, I had to like really overcome fear. And I'm so fucking happy I did, because I've been able to like leave a job and been able to like financially sustain myself with something that people say is just like wishful thinking. And it has been just by following my intuition and doing what my intuition tells me to do. That's honestly why I created MDL, to help people do exactly that. Because even after my spiritual awakening, because it was so embedded into my subconscious to like listen to everything and everyone else besides myself, I started to do the same, and I like created a whole like business structure that did not align, and I knew it didn't align at the time, but because I was being told to do certain things by certain mentors and whatnot, and then looking at other people and what they were doing. I didn't want to be like the different one. So again, I started to create from a place of trying to be like everyone else, even in the spiritual space. And then again, I reached burnout. I was like, what the fuck? This isn't fulfilling. This isn't what I want. And I've taken a step back since then. I've like completely realigned my life. At the start of the year, my higher self came down to me and she was like, I'm taking the wheel from here. You need to just follow me. And I've been literally doing that ever since. And it's been the best decision I've ever made. I'm pretty impressed right now. This is like simultaneous multitasking. This is like Manny Gen vibe. Anyway, I don't actually think I said where I was going. So my partner and I are celebrating the creation of MDL. I feel like I've changed so much of my life in the last like 3 months that I actually don't even recognize like the person I am. I'm just doing things that I thought would take me like years and years to do. And like I said, like I got here because of my ability to like follow my intuition and know how to actually hold myself through all of the resistance as well, and to continue to show up for what I feel is most intuitively aligned to me. The goal is to make your intuition just as loud, because that other voice is always going to be there. You just kind of need to know how to work with it. But anyway, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna celebrate. Not many people celebrate themselves, and I think more people should be celebrating themselves. This is how we anchor in this new timeline. All right, I have 5 minutes left and I cannot believe I am done. I feel like I should not be using the viewfinder to do this. What is this? Head to the side, flick this back. I can't believe I did it. Okay, I actually better go now. So before we went skating, we ended up getting some dinner and we had the best Greek food that I've ever had in my entire life. If you haven't ever tasted moussaka, which is that right there, I highly recommend tasting it. It is so, so, so good. It's like a Greek lasagna. Anyway, then we got to the skating rink, which was lots of fun in the end, but at the start I actually started to get scared, and as soon as I stepped onto the ice I was like, holy shit, there is no way I'm going to be able to do this. What have I done? Why did I make this choice? But it actually didn't take long to get the hang of it, even though we don't look that elegant. I honestly thought, like there, I thought I looked really good. I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. But anyway, nevertheless, we actually got the hang of it and we had lots of fun. So it was such a good way to just celebrate and end the rest of the night. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.